So give me 1 second of silence, and then we'll go.
Hi, I'm Jerome, resident expert at LTAsex.info. Welcome to Let's Talk About Sex, the show where we talk about sex. And today we're talking about queer porn provocateur Courtney Trouble's latest flick, Lesbian Curves 2, Hard Femme.
Before we get into things, introduce yourself for everyone.
I'm Courtney Trouble, and I'm the director of Hard Femme and also a performer.
I'm Kitty Stryker, and I'm one of the performers.
I'm Betty Black, and I'm also a performer.
I'm Cinnamon Maxine, but I'm not in Hard Femme. I'll be in Lesbian Curves 3.
Which we will talk about later. But for right now, let's get started talking about Lesbian Curves 2, Hard Femme. Tell me a bit about why you wanted to go here with the next one as opposed to the first one, which was a bit more light and feminine.
The first one was a movie that I wanted to make since I started making porn in 2002, you know. As a queer fat femme, I have just always wanted to see a huge pile of fat femmes making porn forever and ever and ever with no end. But I also wanted to make something that was for us as fat femmes, but also really something that could be digestible from people outside of our community. So for the first one, I really wanted it to be introductory and kind of keep it simple and romantic and sweet. This one, Hard Femme, is more along the lines of how I like to have sex and how I really want to see the series progress. And that's kind of having, you know, like having sex that's like really connected and really intimate and even, you know, even more intimate than sort of the vanilla sex that you see in the first one. And everybody, I think, had this urge to sort of take it a step further and see how can we be sex positive and body positive and queer and feminine and also be really tough and strong. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it was really just the obvious place to go for the second one. And Kitty and Betty are both at the first one too, so maybe they have something that they want to add about how taking it to the next step worked for them.
Well, that's actually a good question. What for you two has been the difference in shooting the first one versus the second one?
I definitely had more fun. I think because, you know, I've definitely done the type of porn where something was just done to me. You know, like the first one, it was like there was a Hitachi on me and it was great, you know, but like this one I felt like I had more say in the scene, and it was more, not more say, that's a bad way of saying it. I had more, I challenged myself more, I guess. Okay. You know, and like, especially since I'm a little bit more reserved, like stepping out of that, like, shell.
You're reserved?
Yes, I am reserved.
I just watched the entire film this evening, and I have to say that I would have not guessed that you were reserved.
Excellent!
Good.
Yay! Then it was effective.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out how many porn performers are actually kind of pretty shy. And we use porn sort of as an excuse to be the exception to that, of how can we hook up with these people when we're too afraid to ask them out or not, you know, like can't go up to them at a party and just outright say, hey, wanna fuck. We can email somebody that we think is hot and be like, hey, do you want to be in this porn scene with me?
Okay. That always works.
Yeah.
And Kitty, you didn't get to answer. What did you find to be the difference? What did you maybe enjoy more shooting Lesbian Curves 2 versus Lesbian Curves 1?
I think that the difference for me was, honestly, I enjoyed the kind of kinky sex more. I mean, for me, that is like what I am into. Like, that was just my thing. So getting to do that was just really exciting and awesome. And I love working with Betty, so it was our second time getting to play together, and that was really great. So between the two of those things, yeah, it was just really awesome. Yeah, we're porno soulmates.
So, tell me.
I'll be right back.
About your scene. I'm gonna focus a bit on you two because you're here right now, but tell me a bit about your scene. What was it like shooting that?
Me?
Both Kitty and...
Kitty ran off to turn her phone off, so you can
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Well, Betty. What was it like to shoot your scene? What was it like to shoot your scene with Kitty?
With April or Betty. Oh, here, let's talk to these two some more.
I'm like, who are you?
Sorry.
It was hella fun. Like, it was a lot of fun. I'd never used a sex swing before. That was awesome.
Okay. I love that paddle, by the way.
Yes.
The Grumpy Cat paddle. I desperately wanted to use that paddle in that scene, and I was really glad that we got to use it.
I'm glad you guys used it too. It was so adorable. Now, Courtney, what about your scenes? What were those like? Did you? I know you are the director, but you're also playing the actor, which you have done several times. But is that difficult for you? Is it interesting, challenging? How's that?
It's definitely challenging, but I think for me, performing is really a really important aspect. I can't really direct without it. I think that being on set and being in the position that I put other people in, it really informs me on how to treat people on set and how to interact with the people that I work with in a way that I don't think that other porn directors really have access to. My scene with April Flores was really fucking special. I don't know how to describe our relationship, but it's sort of like late blooming best friends from high school. We only met about 4 years ago, but it feels like we've known each other since we were kids. She's one of my favorite people. She came to my wedding. Like, she's a really important part of my life. And we've been on camera together a few times, but we've never got to get to each other like the way that we got to do in Hard Femme. And it was totally surreal. It was absolutely surreal because, it was like fucking your best friends. I don't know how else to describe it. And her husband was one of the ones holding the camera.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So that was a whole other aspect to the shooting that is a positive thing. But it's also like, hi, I'm fucking your wife, who's also my best friend. Do a good job, because I'm the director and I'm making you do this. And as far as directing goes, we had to talk it all out beforehand, and then we sort of had to stick to what we said we were going to do, because the second that I got her mouth on my tit, there was no way I was going to be able to make up my mind about anything. Okay. It was also 9 o'clock in the morning, the day of the Feminist Porn Awards. So I ended up shooting that scene and then going to a gigantic press conference and then performing in another BDSM scene before lunch, and then going to the award ceremony, and then shooting another scene the very next morning. So
I think I'm busy, but you usually busy too. Jesus. But
that scene was extremely special, and I really, really think that CBATS really captured Lesbian Curves the way that I envision it, and I think we really got some good footage of that scene, which was just like, I just didn't want to do it for anybody or anything. I wanted my first time with April to be special.
So let me ask, having seen the whole thing, I have my favorite scenes from the movie. What are yours?
Have you guys seen the whole thing?
We haven't seen the whole thing yet.
Well, I feel special.
Have you seen all the
We saw the trailer. I just got back from London yesterday.
Okay.
So this is like the first time we're even seeing the DVD,
which I just got
yesterday, it's all like new to us. So like that's probably like our evening entertainment is like watching our DVD together. Like.
I mean, our scene is the best. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah. To be honest, like I am pretty fond of our scene. Yeah.
I also have to say, like, I can't play favorites with all of the babies, but I definitely, like, Betty and Kitty are the opening act and the longest act on the movie for a reason. I really stand. I really stand behind their performance styles, and both of them really pushed themselves to do an incredible job. And it was a long day, and there was a lot of hot sunlight pouring through the window, and it was the first time I had my new assistant on set with me, Asia Pop, and all of the stars just aligned for that 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did it take you an hour to shoot?
yeah.
Oh.
We were talking earlier before we got on camera about how my shooting style a little bit, is I just kind of I cast people and have them do whatever they want to do, and I just kind of shut up and shoot it. And actually this scene is a really good example of how I'm trying to break out of that habit and have more of a directorial input while things are happening. And I think we all really worked together to really try to create something that was really authentic to a lot of our own experiences of switching in a rough sex situation, and really sort of breaking through to push down boundaries with the other person and really like get close to somebody while having rough sex. And we all worked at that really hard for that scene.
Now I have to say that particular scene, I think I probably enjoyed that one the most. It was sort of the most playful and it seemed the most over the top joyful, I guess. I sort of loved when you two were competing to give each other orgasms. I thought that was really fun. So with hard femme, of course, you're going super kinky. So can you guys tell me a bit about your own kinks?
Sure.
Cinnamon, what are your own kinks?
I don't know if this is considered a kink, maybe more of a fetish,
Okay.
but I MILFs. Love them. Or just anybody who looks like a mom. I have a really intense mom fantasy of getting picked up in a minivan. And she takes me home and she gives me cookies. And she's also not my mom. She's the kids next door's mom. She's not my mom.
Yeah.
And
Stacey's mom,
she
if
asks
you
me
will.
really weird questions, like not weird questions, just like very cute questions, like, are those good cookies? And then she spanks me, and then she goes, is this a good spanking? And that's pretty much it. We don't fuck or anything. She just like feeds me cookies and spanks me.
I'm filing that away. Lesbian Curves 4. Mom!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I mean, that's not a bad idea. Just saying.
And what about you, Kitty?
Oh man, I mean, I am all over the map, really. Like, I am a sampler platter of kinks and fetishes. It's really a shorter list of what I don't do or am not into. I have learned that while I enjoy little play, I am not into adult baby.
Okay.
I have tried it, and it does not work for me at all. Things that I do like, though, I tend towards the playful. I think that comes out a lot in the scenes that I do. They tend towards sort of lots of giggling. So I do
A little fun.
a lot of like clown play and splosh and dressing up in weird outfits. My Little Pony play.
Okay.
That's come up before. So
It's always good to have a good sense of humor about your sex. So with all the things that you got to do with Lesbian Curves 2, what are we looking at for Lesbian Curves 3?
Well, we've actually already shot the first scene for Lesbian Curves 3,
Okay.
which is a shout out to the masculine. It's called Butch to the Bone.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that it features Butch dykes of size in every single scene. The first scene that we shot was actually with Cinnamon Maxine and Syd Blakovich. She's one of my favorite performers ever, and one of the very few people who started out sort of in the queer porn movement, 6 or 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and has become like a bona fide mainstream porn star. So Syd Blakovich rarely makes any porn anymore, ever. And I connived her into doing this scene with Cinnamon. And I've seen it. I've already worked on editing it a little bit. And it's amazing. Syd plays a massage therapist. Cinnamon is in her hotel wanting to get pampered.
Okay.
And so there's a really, really long body worship portion to it that is outstanding.
All right.
Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
I love the scene. I had a great time. I also have a porno crush on Syd, so that was awesome. It was also the best butt massage I've ever had in my entire life. It was a good butt massage. and we just like fucked for an hour. It was awesome. We had a great time. And Syd is just like so fucking professional, really polite, checks in. It was a lot of fun.
Lesbian Curves 2 Hard Femme is out when?
Lesbian Curves 2 just came out yesterday. So.
And where can people check it out?
You can get it at realqueerporn.com. On DVD or VOD, or lesbiancurves.com is probably an easier link for everybody to follow. Lesbiancurves.com is a really amazing website, and it's going to get better and better as the series goes on. You can get the VOD copies of the films there. You can see all the trailers and all of the cast photos. Plus, there's a clip store where you can buy not only the individual scenes from each movie, but you can also buy scenes that I've directed for other projects like Queer Porn TV or Indie Porn Revolution that fit into the Lesbian Curves theme. So there's this whole back catalog of stuff that I've shot that would sort of fit under the sort of Lesbian Curves idea of lesbian sex and along the size spectrum. And vaguely mostly femme, although there's variants on that too. So there's this whole back catalog that sort of rounds out the project. I do a shout out to a couple other websites that I perform on or that I think fit in with sort of the queer plus size genre. And the Hard Femme DVD actually has the VOD file on the disc. So you can have the DVD and the VOD just by ordering the DVD, and then you can put it on your phone and your tablet and all that stuff, and you can still have the cute little bookmark that you put on your coffee table or your nightstand, or you give it to your mom. I really want to rep for the DVD because for queer porn, it's a collector's item. I only made 700 of them.
Only
So
700?
yeah, and it's collectible. You get
we're on it.
Yeah, and you get all of the art.
Hot.
And,
Okay.
Yeah, and you still get the thing you can put on your phone. So I would say go for the DVD because you can share it with people.
Don't they get an extra clip too?
Yeah, also, my biggest kink right now, my hard femme edge, is above and beyond everything else rope bondage, specifically suspension bondage. It's only happened to me once. It's my first time, and it's on this DVD. I actually worked with one of my favorite mainstream photographers, Dave Nas, on the project. I got fully suspended for about half an hour, and tied up in a bunch of different positions and spun around. And so there's a bonus scene, it's sort of like a 7-minute long music video kind of of that performance. Yeah.
Well, that's worth buying.
That's on the DVD, and that's not on the VOD download.
Well, that's an awesome bonus feature for anyone who wants to buy the DVD, which they can get again where?
At lesbiancurves.com.
Lesbiancurves.com. Okay. Now, before we go, give me, in sort of a nutshell, sort of like a sales pitch of why Hard Femme is so awesome and why you should go out and, why everyone should run out and go buy it.
Well, these two. Because it really is the only place you are going to be able to find really authentic queer femmes who love fucking other queer femmes, and they're doing it well, and it's all along the size spectrum, and it's not shaming anybody about their body. It's not saying that you're one thing or you're another thing. It's really just allowing plus size femmes to be who they are and fuck how they want to fuck. And I think that time and time again, when I as a director allow that authenticity to happen on screen, it ends up looking so much hotter than the fake shit. Like just 100 times hotter than the fake shit. And that's sort of my elevator pitch, is that like if you want to see the real thing and you don't want to be tricked or manipulated into just sort of suspending your disbelief, come to Hard Femme, come to Lesbian Curves, because you can be rest assured that this was made by a queer femme of size and that you are not seeing anything but the real deal.
Did anyone else have anything else to add? Why they think everyone should go out and buy it?
Lesbian Curves allows me to decide who I want to fuck and how I want to do it. And, you know, that's awesome. And also because Courtney's a really great director in how she films.
Mhm.
Like, we're not getting interrupted every 5 minutes to change positions. And, like, I mean, we just had sex. Like, honestly, I didn't really notice that Courtney was there a lot of the time, which I think she felt a little disappointed at some points, like, that we didn't notice she was there. But, like, I just felt like we just had sex, and then there just happened to be a video of it later.
And I was like literally right here.
Yeah, like, I had no idea most of the time, except for when she was like, "Can you move over? You're like about to fall off the bed."
Yeah.
I don't want them. That's when I butt in, is when somebody's about to fall over.
To me, that's really awesome. And having watched other fat femme sex in porn, a lot of the times it is very shaming. And that's really disappointing. I don't want to watch porn that makes me feel crappy about my body, and neither does my partner. So, you know, I think that it's really nice to see something that is joyous, that is fun and playful and exciting.
I also like that it's not just one projection of femininity, too. You
Yeah.
know, it's not that we're passive or, you know, as you said, like the first one was a little bit more gentle, but you combined it
Introductory.
with feminine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is feminine too. And that's what I really appreciate about it, is that it's just a different kind of feminine.
And I think that's a good note to leave it on. It was very, very fun talking to you today.
Thank you.
And remind the people one more time where they can get Hard Femme 2. Lesbian
LesbianCurves.com.
Curves 2. LesbianCurves.com. Right?
Thank
Go
you.
buy it, people. It's really good. We'll have our review out on Monday.
Awesome. Great.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you so much for your time.
All right, that's about it for me today. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like what you saw, make sure to click like or subscribe. If you want to catch up with me, you can do that on Twitter at NotJeromeStewart. You can find the Let's Talk About Sex Facebook fan page at facebook.com/LTASexinfo. You can find LTA Sex on Tumblr at ltasex.tumblr.com. If you just so happen to want to send me an email, you can do that, Jerome@ltasex.info. Once again, thank you so much for stopping by. Until next time, I'm still Jerome. This is still Let's Talk About Sex, and I'll see you next time. Keep it sexy.